All right, everybody, we're back for the Group B preview here at the FTN Bets World Cup Betting Preview. Zach Graham, Kawaisenberg DFS, Stefano Vaccarino at Big Money Play on Twitter. It's Group B. It's the United States. It's what I think a lot of us are here for, at least the Americans in the crowd, alongside the United States, who, again, are back in the World Cup after missing 2018. England, Iran, and Wales. I mean, there is narratives all over the place in this group. I'm pumped up as a soccer fan. I'm pumped up as a fan of the U.S. men's national team. Steph, how are you looking at Group B here? Which I think between this and a group we're going to talk about later, certainly one of the two toughest groups here out of the 8.
This is a really, really interesting group, right? Because on paper, you're like, this isn't a group of death. But then you kind of go through it and you're like, this kind of is a group of death. Like, obviously, England is the chalk to win this group, but every single team in this group can legitimately win this group, in my opinion. I think Wales is the worst team in this group. So sorry, any Welsh fans. I don't think this is an aging squad that doesn't really have much young talent. That, like, listen, Gareth Bale is playing in the MLS. He's doing okay, but he's a shell of the former player that he used to be. Aaron Ramsey also getting up there in age. So this Welsh side, I think, is pretty clearly the worst team in this group. They're not being treated that way, though. They're being treated as the second favorite after the U.S. to advance in this group. I should say to come in second after the U.S. in this group, with England being the favorite. I'm going to hold off on the U.S. I'm going to let you talk about the U.S. more than me because you're the bigger MLS guy than me. And I know there are some questions with their squad selection that I'm curious to hear your take on. I really like this Iran side. My prediction is actually England to win this group and Iran to advance after England, with the U.S. and Wales to not qualify for the next stage. Iran is a legit team. This is not a bad team. They have a star player, and I'm cutting to the chase. I'm doing my player to watch early, and Mehdi Tarami. He is a top 15 striker in the world, and I would argue he is a top 10 striker in the world. He plays for Porto. He just scores, right? He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's technical. He does everything. He's just a classical number 9, and that's a really important feature for an Iranian team that essentially has never really had an attack in major international play, right? They've always been known to park the bus, to rarely concede any goals, and that's still their strategy. But now they have an informed striker who can score goals, who can capitalize on those counter-attacking opportunities. I like this Iranian team. It's not a home game for Iran, but this is the first World Cup played in an Arab nation, and I think that actually does benefit the Arab teams in the tournament. And so I would say Iran will probably have the largest contingency of fans. The first World Cup that's being hosted in an Arab nation, and this is essentially going to be as close to a home game for Iran than it would be for any other team in this group. I think that is going to play a mini factor in what is going to be a tight group. This is a really good defensive team. They've got a great striker. And I have questions about the U.S. squad selection. I actually think Iran is potentially the more talented team than the U.S. So, yeah, I'm picking England and Iran to advance out of this group.
So yeah, I mentioned back in Group A that there's going to be some points where we disagree. And like, you may end up being right when all is said and done here, because I think there are a lot of question marks even before the squad was selected for this U.S. men's national team. But let me touch on the other teams before I dive into my U.S. Talk here. I'm right there with you. Right here in my notes. Iran could upset any of these teams is what I have written down. Like the lowest FIFA ranking in this group at 21st in the world. Like, just, again, to highlight what you said, I think a lot of people, especially casuals, and I think I would include myself in that grouping, at least before I dove into this tournament about a month or two ago. That team is going to be really tough. And you mentioned the striker to watch there. Like, he's probably going to give the United States backline some fits. I'm also with you on Wales. Like, I don't really buy into them, and this may be my MLS bias seeping through, that like I watched Gareth Bale both live and on film all last season since he joined mid-season in the summer, but he didn't really need to go and give all of his effort to LAFC. And when they needed it most in the final, he came through with the latest goal in MLS history to send them to PKs, eventually winning. But I just I don't really like you. I don't think I have to say much more. I just don't buy into this team, but they're going to go as far as Gareth Bale can take them. So I guess he would be kind of a player to watch for me. But my next one is, and I'll go into the United States here, is Christian Pulisic. And I don't think that's a hot take at all, but this guy has been so darn good for Chelsea lately. And he was great for the United States in the qualifying process. He led the team in fouls drawn, which I think is big for a team that may have to live off corners and set pieces and recycled balls off those set pieces. And so for him to be able to draw fouls, hold up play, and get the United States in positions to get good quality chances on net, to me, this team is also going to go as Pulisic goes. But I think the upside for this United States team is absolutely winning this group. We have not seen, I mean, it's the youngest team in the tournament, and we have not seen these guys healthy really throughout the qualifying process. And so now that we're like, I'll knock on wood here, we're like 10 days away from the first match against Wales. And the fact that we could maybe see this team healthy just has my, like, maybe I'm a little overconfident in this team now. And so I'll go ahead and just go into my favorite bet from this group. Homerism, be damned. Plus 500 United States winning Group B. Give me that red, white, and blue, Steph.
I love it. I love it. Mine's less fun. Mine is, I have two actually. One's more fun than the other. Mine is Iran to advance at a Group B at plus 400 on Caesars. I just think plus 400, like 4-1, that's good odds. Like, I don't think any team in this group, I mean, rephrase. Wales is at like plus 110 to advance. I think they should be like plus 400 or plus 500. If the U.S. or Iran are at plus 400, they'd be my favorite. Like, I just think it's too even of a group for anyone to give you 4-1 odds to advance. So Iran at plus 400 to advance. And then this is actually one of my favorite bets the entire tournament. And not to pile on the Welsh, but Wales' lowest scoring team of the tournament at plus 2,500. I think that is a really good bet. Just consider the fact Iran does not concede goals. Like they do not concede goals whatsoever. I think they conceded 2 goals in all of qualifying. The U.S. back line is a little shaky, and England's back line with Harry Maguire is a little shaky. So I'm a little worried about own goals for England, where Harry Maguire is my But like this Wales attacking side, just old and slow and not good. I don't think they're going to score goals. I think this line should probably be closer to like plus 1,000. Like Qatar and Saudi Arabia around like plus 700, plus 800 for this line. So plus 2,500, I think, is a good value for lowest scoring team.
And you know, we could get into Zach Steffen being left off the U.S. Roster, Ricardo Pepi, guys like that. We could argue about Jordan Morris and Christian Roldan. And let's cheer on these 26 guys that have fought and made the team. Like we'll have the postmortem after the tournament. We can review the United States team. I'm all in on these guys, at least in the group stage. Steph, I'm a believer. I guess that's what they say, right? In the American Outlaws, I believe we will win.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the bar slugging pints, screaming. I'm going to start the chant. You know, I believe that we can win.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for us here in Group B. We'll be back for Group C here shortly, but you can go to ftnbets.com/World Cup, get all of our World Cup betting content. If you haven't signed up, you're not a member at FTN Bets just yet, you can get a 3-day free trial. So what are you waiting for? Come on over ftnbets.com/World Cup. You can use our prop shop too to either find the best odds on some of the bets we've given out if you're trying to tail us, or you have some bets of your own. Find the best odds around the industry with the FTN Bets prop shop. Again, that's the end of Group B. We will be back with Group C shortly here on the ftnbets.com World Cup betting preview.